3.5 weeks ago. So this video is a 3-week update, I suppose. I did mean to do sort of a 1-week update and then a 2-week update, but I wasn't very well, so I'll get into that. Before I get started with the video, if you could drop this video a like or subscribe to me, that would be very much appreciated. I am currently on holiday in Tenerife, as you can see. Well, you can't see, but I'm not at home. You can see that. And my hair is wet because I just got back from the spa. But what's wet hair between friends? So yeah, let me get into this video and I'll start with week 1 and work my way through the weeks. So week 1 and 2 were not as easy as I thought they were going to be. I did film this video once before, and I filmed it on a dog walk in the middle of some woods on a picnic table. And I went to edit the footage and I realised I looked so depressed. I thought, I can't put this out on the internet. I was really down in the dumps. I remember the second day after surgery, I woke up and I went to do the injection in my stomach. And I remember lifting my shirt to look in the mirror to see where I was injecting the blood thinners and looking at my stomach and the incisions and how flabby it was, and I burst into tears. And that was kind of how week 1 began. I think I'm a pretty logical person, and I knew that having the surgery was not going to change my appearance overnight, but there was some kind of mental thing that was going on that was kind of like, I can't believe I've been through all this and I still look like this. So I don't know, maybe some of you can relate to that. And I found week 1 and 2 on fluids really hard. So I actually, with tonic, it's 2 weeks of fluid and then you go do 2 weeks of puree. I actually stopped my fluids at about 10 days and I did start experimenting with a bit of puree because I was really struggling to stomach any of the protein shakes. I could tolerate them somewhat prior to that, but I'm now at home. I've got about 6 bags of this protein meal replacement that I'm probably never going to use, so that's going to be a total waste. And I was finding all of it too chalky and all of it too sweet. And then thankfully I had a call with my nurse a few days in, and she suggested the Arla protein yogurts and just watering them down with some milk. So that's what I started doing, and I could tolerate that because the Arla protein yogurts, they're not really sweet. It's more of a natural yogurt, so they were a bit more tart, and for some reason I could cope with that a lot easier. So I was living off that pretty much because for the first couple of days I'd tried some soups here and there, and I just couldn't, the thought of it was just making me feel sick. And the thought of protein shakes was making me feel sick. So yeah, I was living off yogurt. Towards the start of the second week, I thought I really need to get in some shakes if I can. So I started thinking of ways that I could pimp up my shakes. I took the banana, I can't remember what it's called now, banana sundae flavour or something like that. And I started putting a couple of teaspoons of peanut butter in and then blending it in the NutriBullet. And the banana and peanut butter combo worked a treat. So I was able to get the protein shakes in after that. So my advice would be, if you're really struggling with ordinary protein shakes, try and pimp them up a bit, put something a bit extra in there, whether it's some fruit. You know, we can't have the berries with seeds in to begin with, but we can have like blueberries, I guess seedless cherries, things like that. You can blend them in with your shakes just to give them a bit of oomph, and obviously the peanut butter worked for me. But even with all of that, I still got to day 10 and I thought, I don't know if I can make this. I can't do it anymore. So I would not recommend this to everyone because obviously there's a reason. Our surgeons and our doctors want us to do this and want us to do 2 weeks of liquids. But I did that night. On day 10, have a little bit of mashed potato and gravy. I'd had protein liquids the whole rest of the day, and I thought I need something, and that's the thought of it's not going to make me. I call it gippy. You know, if you get a bit gippy, you want to like feel a bit. No, thanks. So I needed something, and I had a little bit of mashed potato, a little bit of gravy, and I thought I'm just going to see how this goes, and if this goes well, maybe I will experiment with some other puree foods. So I had a small bit, and it went down really well. I didn't have any pain or anything. Well, I had some pain as I started to get full, and that's one thing that you need to be aware of and think of is eat slowly so that you realize when you're full, because there have been a couple of times I've eaten too quickly since then, and I'm just hit with this sudden pain that's I know that I've pushed it, and it's okay. I just let it be for a few seconds and then it passes, so it's okay. But if I was to continue pushing past that, I think maybe I'd throw up. I haven't thrown up at all since surgery, which is something I'm really happy about because I think I have a bit of a phobia of throwing up. So when I was watching all of these videos about nausea, I thought, oh crap, I'm in for a ride here. But I've not had any of that. I've been pretty careful with the quantities I've been eating. So even when I did go onto puree, I was making things like, so I made chili and then I would puree that down, like chili con carne, because you got a lot of protein in there with the beans and the meat. I made a bolognese and I put double meat in there. So I put pork and beef in there and I pureed that down. That was really nice. And then I also made mini shepherd's pies, and I will put a picture of them in here because I'm super proud of them. I bought 6 mini casserole dishes off Amazon. I think it was about, gosh, what was it? Just over 20 quid or something like that. I'll put a link down below for anyone who might want to buy them because I think they're going to be a lifesaver for small portions. So I bought these little casserole dishes. I made cottage pie, and I blended the meat sauce, and then I put a really thin mash on top, and I froze them so I could just defrost them whenever I wanted. And I kind of cycled through those meals with some yogurt now and again, and now I have started getting my protein, and I wish that I'd done this from the beginning from protein water. So my protein do a clear. I'm looking down because the tub of it's here, but it's a clear whey protein that they do, and they do it in loads of different flavors. And one scoop is 20 grams of protein, and I think it's about 87 calories or something like that. And but it's really low sugar and low everything else, so it's just chock packed full of protein. And you just mix your water in. I would recommend, they say just to put it in a shaker. If you just put it in a shaker and shake it about, you're gonna get, and I'm sorry if the word is gross, but it's what it is, globules. You're going to get weird globules of protein where it hasn't mixed properly. So if you've got a food processor or a blender, NutriBullet, pop it in there instead and blitz it, because it will be a lot better. You just need to blitz it for a few seconds and it will be really frothy, and then you let it just sit on the side and it will calm down, and then you've got a perfect protein water. So I tried the apple one. That was a bit too strong for me. I'm not really into apple. I don't know why I bought it. It was a stupid decision. But I also have the orange one, and my favourite is the raspberry lemonade. And I brought it on holiday with me because I thought I'm meant to be in the puree phase at the moment. That's very difficult on holiday. But I thought I'm going to get my protein in through the protein water. So another reason weeks 1 and 2 were really hard mentally is because I stopped losing weight. So I experienced the 3 week stall a bit early, and there's one thing going through this process and thinking, oh my God, have I done the right thing? This is difficult. I'm hating the liquid diet. I'm hating life. But you're losing weight and you're stepping on the scale and you're seeing it go down and it feels worth it. And then it's another thing entirely mentally when you're stepping on that scale and it's not going down, but you're still having all of these sort of sad thoughts that you've done this big thing and it's not going anywhere. And even though logically I know that if I trust the process, it's going to work, there were moments of what I can only describe as pure fear that, well, that's it. I've lost, well, I think it was £28 at the time. I've lost £28. That's all I'm going to get. That's it. That's all I'm going to get out of this. And I'm not going to lose any more. And I thought, I can't be thinking like this. So I hopped on the Tonic Facebook group and I just put a message on there. And I'm not really one to reach out usually, but I reached out and said, I had my surgery on the 21st. Is there anyone else out there that's stalling? And the amount of people that came on and said that they also were stalling and that it was perfectly normal really surprised me, because yes, had I seen on YouTube about the 3-week stall? Yeah, but no one had mentioned that straight after surgery you can stall and that it can last up to a whole week, which is pretty much what it did for me. I was weighing every single day and it wasn't moving, and I was getting really down in the dumps about it and just feeling pretty crap about the whole experience. Until someone reached out to me on Facebook from the Tonic group and said that their advice would be to put the scale away completely for the first month or so, even a couple of months. Just put it away, hide it away where you can't get to it, because if you trust the process, you're going to lose the weight. You are going to lose the weight. Unless you're doing something ridiculous, there's no way you're going to, with the restriction you've got, get so many calories in you that you're not going to lose weight. So I got my wife to hide the scales, and I didn't weigh again until just before I came on holiday, which was week 3. And I weighed at week 3, and that week I'd lost £4. So the stall had broken, and I think my weight loss is now, since the start of the liver reduction diet, I think I'm sitting at about £32.6 of weight loss, but I'll confirm that with a little picture up here with my weights pre-surgery and now. So it was good to go on holiday with it. It sort of gave me a little boost, like, yay, I'm going on holiday and I've lost a bit more. But when I get back, those scales, I might weigh once I get back just to see where I'm at with things, because I have had to start soft foods on holiday a few days early than I was supposed to, just because it's not really practical for me to go down to the restaurant and get food and then come and blend it. So I have had some soup and stuff, but I've also been having some scrambled eggs, and at dinner I've been trying different soft meats, and they have the little canary and potatoes over here. So I've just been chewing everything to absolute within an inch of its life, and just taking my time with it. And so far, touch wood, I've not had any issues. So I will be weighing myself when I get home, just because I'm interested to see how that's impacted, if I've lost any weight at all. I've been very, very active this holiday, and week 3 definitely picked up for me mentally when I put the scale away and when I started to have more puree food, so a little bit more variety, and I wasn't having to force down these liquids anymore, that felt like I was, very much doing it against my will. So we're into week 4 now, and so far so good. I've tried lots of different foods while I've been away, little bits of everything. I've had a little bit of turkey, a little bit of this and that, and it is earlier than, like I said, it is earlier than the schedule is, but I'm being sensible with it. I'm not out there scarfing down a ton of burgers. I'm not going to Mackie D's, getting a 20-pack of chicken nuggets and eating them all. I'm having little bits, and I'm trying things that are softer and that are more likely not to hurt my stomach, and I haven't had any issues. What I have had issues with since being on holiday, and what I didn't really have issues with that much before, is constipation. So I'm sorry if that's TMI, but I mean, here we are. We've had 80% of our stomachs chopped away. Is there such a thing as TMI anymore? I think it's probably a combo of trying some more solid foods than I've been on, and also not as many fluids as I should be taking. And I think when we come on holiday, I think most of us are guilty of not getting as many fluids as we should down us. So the last couple of days, I've really been trying to make sure I try and get as much liquid down me as I can. I've tried different things from the pharmacy to help. They seem to have the really, I don't know how to describe it, but the gentle laxatives over here. So back home you can get the Dulcolax Pico liquid, and that works overnight. I couldn't find it over here. I could only find one that works between 24 and 72 hours, and it just didn't seem like it was doing anything. So actually, one night after I went to see a drag show, I went to the pharmacy about midnight and got some suppositories. And the next day, I did my thing and sat down and made myself drink almost a litre of water, and that seemed to do the trick. So, trial and error, if I suppose if the if constipation and a bit of stomach acid every now and then are the worst symptoms I'm going to get during recovery, I suppose I'm pretty lucky. So I'm just dealing with everything day by day. I've managed on holiday now to start getting a bunch of my vitamins in. So the only one I can't do at the minute is the Forcival prescribed multivit that the doctor gave me, because, and it's quite common that this happens, it's very harsh on the stomach. The first one I took, I tried when I was still at home, and I had really bad stomach acid the next day. I felt really unwell, and it's quite common that it makes people feel sick. So I just eased off it. I thought there's no point doing this, it's clearly too early. But I am getting down. So the doctor also prescribed me calcium with is it D3? So I'm getting that down. I have that twice a day. I'm getting my iron in, my folic acid. I am having biotin and collagen, along with my other medication. But those medications are the specific ones for after having bariatric surgery. And I did email my nurse about, because I have had a couple of days when I have had increased stomach acid, and I've had this persistent cough ever since surgery, and I thought maybe that was because of the stomach acid. But I described my symptoms to the nurse, and she thinks it's more likely that I had a little bit of a chest infection. And she said if I was still at home, she would have said for me to go and get checked out. But because I'm on holiday and because it seems to be getting better rather than worse, just to keep an eye on it. So I will go to the doctor when I get back if it's still not gone. But it's a lot better. I'm not bringing anything up anymore, really, and I'm not coughing as much as I was. And the stomach acid has been a lot better. So I've only had tiny bits here and there instead of having it all day before and feeling really rough with it. But the nurse did say instead of Forcival, if I really can't stomach it, try chewable vitamins, chewable multivitamins, but double the dose, because the dose in chewable multivits is not enough for a bariatric patient. So that's maybe a tip if you're struggling, if you're also trying Forcival, yeah, I think it is Forcival, and it's not agreeing with your stomach. Just knock it on the head for a bit, and try the chewable multivitamins and just take double the dose. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I've been more active on holiday for sure, so I've been trying to get my steps in. I've been going to the gym in the hotel and doing some cardio, and I actually had a really good non-scale victory the other day, which was we drove up into the mountains here, and we got to a lookout point, and you had to walk up a massive hill to get the views out over the clouds. And that's something before that I probably wouldn't have even attempted, because I would have told myself and psyched myself out ahead of time and said, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm too fat. I'm too unhealthy. I can't do this. And this time I thought, no, sod it. I can do it. Even if I have to take, 10 breaks, I can do it. And so I went striding around. I went up this hill, and I did have to take a few breaks, but in my defence, it was a bloody steep hill. So I took some breaks, but I got to the top, and that's the main thing. And I felt so proud of myself when I got to the top, and I'll put a picture in now. because it was beautiful. But yeah, I got there, and that's the main thing. And I think instead of obsessing over the scales this early on in our recovery, we should be focusing on non-scale victories like that. My clothes are fitting a bit nicer than they were before. I've got a bit more energy than I had before. I can walk without my back hurting. I can walk without pain in my foot because I had a persistent pain in my left foot before. And I can climb. Well, I didn't climb a whole mountain. I kind of drove up the mountain and then I climbed to the tip top. But I got up that bloody hill and I wouldn't have been able to do that before. So these are the things to bear in mind this early on, I think, is just be kind to yourself. Take as good a care of yourself as possible. Listen to your body and what it's telling you with hunger signals and whether you've had too much to eat or whether something's not agreed with you. Try and get your vitamins in, but don't force it if it's making you ill. And focus on the non-scale victories and being aware of things that you can do now that you could never have done before. Because I think those are the things that are going to mean the most to us. You know, flying over, I was kind of pissed off, to be honest. I thought, oh, I've lost this weight. I probably won't need a seatbelt extender. And then I went to do my seatbelt up on the plane, and it was literally like that much too small, and I had to ask for one. But last time I flew, it was too small by much more than that. So even that's a non-scale victory for me. So yeah, and having a little bit more confidence to go explore. I usually, when I come on holiday, I on the first couple of days, I'm like a bit of a hermit. I want to stay in the safety of the room. I don't like to go out and explore. Well, the first night here, we landed, we dumped our stuff, we got changed, and I said, "Let's go out. Let's go out and walk and explore." And that's a complete personality change for me. So yeah, overall things are looking up a lot better now. I was sick, physically sick with a chest infection or something the first couple of weeks. And mentally, I wasn't doing very well because of the liquids and because of the weight stall. But now I do feel like I've turned a corner, and hopefully I'll lose a bit more. But I do know I will stall again, so I'm just mentally preparing for that. But I did lose more weight, and I'm feeling much better in myself. So overall, week 3 summary is pretty positive, I would say. Um, I'm not sure when I'll do the next video. As I say, I'm on holiday at the moment. When I get back, I have some ideas for videos, but we're having a lot of work done on our house and in our backyard at the minute. So when I can, I will post another video with another update. I'll probably give it a couple of weeks so I've got actually got something to tell you. But thank you for watching. If you have any questions about what it's been like over the last few weeks since surgery, pop them down below. I'm going to put a quick couple of pictures in here just for anyone who's interested in incision healing. So the first picture I'll put up was my incisions the day after surgery. I really don't think they looked that bad considering I'd had surgery the day before. And the picture I put in now will be my incisions as they are now on holiday. So I had a couple of days swimming in the sea, and I think the salt water has really helped them. But they're much more healed, and they're actually not as red as they look in the picture. They're a lot more pink and faded now. So yeah, those are some incision pictures for you just to see how that's happening. So yeah, thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Drop me a like and subscribe. And that's it from me. Thank you. Bye.